Portsmouth have won a major trophy more recently than Tottenham, yet they currently sit in League One. In their 7-year stint in the Premier League, they recorded finishes as high as 8th. In 2008, they even won the FA Cup in what I can only imagine was one of the worst quality finals of recent history. They even held a draw at home to AC Milan, with the likes of Ronaldinho and Inzaghi having the privilege to play on the south coast. However, since then, Portsmouth entered administration not once, but twice, and then saw them relegated from the Premier League all the way down to League Two. They've managed to climb one division in a decade, but I think we can do better than that. That's why I appointed the Scottish-born Fabio Garcia for the job. There's only one Fabio Garcia. Welcome to the club. With eyes set on promotion in our first year, Fabio's first port of call was transfers, specifically looking at free agents. Jesus Christ, that is not a German man.
Oh, Ronnie Pickering!
The squad was pretty decent for this level, but lower league schedules are really packed out, so we either need depth or improvements. Using his Scottish charm and his accent, Fabio managed to convince some incredible players to give their best years to Fratton Park. There's the man himself. No, that's the man himself. Be handy if I actually knew who I was signing.
How much did that fresh Rolex set you back?
Shamrock Rovers offered us none other than Roberto Lopez in a deal for Devlin. And let's be honest, this guy's not a world beater, so Fabio bit their hand off. Number 3, I like that for him. Number 3 is nice on him. We continued to sign a good chunk of players as well, which, to be fair, was partly funded by a lot of dead wood. Off you go, mate. Don't let the door hit you. I mean, look, this man sold for 2 million. What mug is buying him for 2 million? We began with a young Ghanaian on £900 a week. 900 quid a week. I'll give him that personally. Decent. He's built like a fucking semi-detached house. Then we signed a young Mexican winger, who I'm going to call Ozil Herrera. Hala Madrid, what is the kit? What kit is he wearing? Closely followed by a young New Zealand winger, who, I don't want to be racist or anything, but he's definitely got some sort of Asian heritage. We've got to give him a shirt number. Wait, just 18. That's funny. I also wasn't massively convinced by our keeping quality at the club, so we signed this 6'8" Goliath from Iceland. Oh, he's fucking massive. Look at the size of him. No wonder he's got the playstyle for claiming crosses. It's like if you put Harry Kane on stilts. And last of this little splurge, we signed a man who has no business playing at this level. I'm happy with that. Honestly, I'm happy with 40 mil release clause. The Mexican international, Luis Chavez. Don't feel too bad for him though. He's well compensated. He was earning half of our wage allocation for fuck's sake. He could probably buy a good chunk of Mexico for that money. After our little splurge and pillage of Mexico, this was how the team was shaping up going into our first game of the season. Although Fabio might look incredibly Scottish, you might be surprised to hear that he actually has a bit of Spanish in him. I know, he hides it really well. The only thing Spanish about him though, is his love for invading foreign nations and tiki-taka. We're definitely getting tiki-taka. So that's the style we're going with. Our first 2 games of the season were actually away from home, which is a shame because Fratton Park were buzzing for the home debuts of the many new arrivals. But nonetheless, we made our way to a random park in Stevenage, where Stevenage FC seemed to call home. The game was quite a cagey affair for a season opener. If anything, Stevenage had the far better chances to go ahead. Oh my god. That's what you get in League One. They forced some really good saves from the man who hardly fits in the changing rooms. Oh, they're pressing. What are they doing? Don't press me. But luckily, some fortunate pressing led to Scully nicking the ball away and slotting away our first of the season. Literally, just slating him. Scully was actually begging on his knees for a game in Fabio's DMs. So I'm glad he's done something to gain a bit of respect back. Credit to them though. They were putting up a lot of fight. Luis Chavez, just there again. Despite how poor of a team Stevenage are, they were pressing and they were doing some decent attacking actions. What a save. I didn't even mean to pass there. I went to go back to keeper. It's like that video of that blind kid playing American football. Look, you're running the wrong way, but at least you're giving it a go. It took until the 93rd minute for us to really seal out the game, with Elijah just scoring on his debut for the club. The away end was going absolutely mental. He did play decently. Keep your feet on the ground. No. Great performance, mate. Going a bit further up north now, we played Burton Albion. They got Black Man in goal, literally. But some changes to the team were in order. How old is Bishop? 26. He runs like he's 34. Who's that with green hair? Looks like a pro clubs player. Burton Albion had no interest in playing actual football. They just ran down the wing and pressed circle. And to be fair to them, it was working. They cemented an early lead from a nice strike. And now we were really under it. We were hundreds of miles away from home, and we were getting pressured by Burton Albion. At least it was working for them, until we started giving some back. What? We just killed him. Yenji just killed a man, and Lopez nailed in a header. I mean, on his debut as well. They're going to do the same shit again. Nice. This keeper, honestly, what a fucking buy. Coming into the second, it seems like Burton left their concentration in the dressing room, because Yenji just walked through their back line to put us ahead. We kept the lead intact well as well. Beautiful, Captain Sparkles, and eventually put the nail in the Burton coffin in the 59th minute. How has he made that in? He just about made it in. We killed all momentum that they had been building, other than some class defending from Lopez. What a challenge by Lopez. Oh, Lopez again. Lopez again. The game just dwindled out and we finished 3-1 up. Back down in London, we managed to scrape a win against Charlton in the Cup, in what I'm assuming is one of the worst quality penalty shootouts in the history of the sport. We finally get to see the cathedral that is Fratton Park. I'm surprised Olaf can actually get in that corridor. The guy's head is touching the ceiling. Look at him, the Scotsman, as we host Bolton down south. This historic ground has seen the likes of Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, and now it's a place that Fabio calls home. With some early saves from Olaf, the Goliath, and decent defending, Bolton were denied the chance to capitalise on their early momentum. I think that Robinson's playing in at cam, which is a bit of a worry. I didn't mean to have him in. All their hopes were put swiftly to bed as a surprise inclusion of Robertson scores a banger from the top of the box. This is the guy I was keeping out of the team. I thought you weren't good enough. Okay, I don't really want to look at his feet. Just look at it. That right there is a 59 rated man. Unfortunately for Robertson though, he appears to have the stamina of the £300 Christian Eriksen, and he had to be hooked at half-time. I was doing it for his own good. I had to prevent some sort of cardiac event from occurring. This attacking midfield problem doesn't seem to be sorting itself out, so Fabio might have to dabble in the market again. Back into the game though, after some really nice play, the substitute Anjorin comes on and just caresses the ball into the bottom corner with the outside of his foot. And if that wasn't enough to put a dagger in their hearts, Bishop just twatting it into the side net, and then Herrera slotting it home with some really nice play from Anjorin. Should be enough. Oh, no. Okay. Herrera's fucking wank. Jesus Christ, he just hammered it into the skull of some poor fan. If I signed a man with venereal diseases or some sort of impotence, he just can't finish. Herrera actually managed to give Bolton the opportunity to garner some sort of semblance of a comeback. Why have they brought their keeper out? What are they doing? Oh my god, what are they doing? But their desperation for a consolation was just poor game management in the end. They just gave Just an open goal and he just slots home the fourth. Have that, you wanker. Why are you coming up? You're 2 goals down in the 92nd minute. Morel somehow claims man of the match in our first home game of the season. I'm not sure how though. He was pretty poor. After just 3 games, we were sat in second, only second to Wigan, who were actually due to play us pretty soon, but not until we batter Oxford. I've heard from some pretty reputable sources that the entire first 11 were all out getting pissed last night, hence why they're all fucking shattered. Apart from the Goliath, of course. You could hook this man up to intravenous ethanol, and he wouldn't feel a thing, genuinely. We went into our 4th game of the season undefeated, but you get the feeling that the heavy downpour in Oxford might cause a slight issue for us. I like the coat. Proper Zara that. Of course, we are the only team on the planet that get affected by weather.
It's raining for both teams.
We started off poorly with some really loose passing from the second string team, to which Oxford started to smell blood and they began pressing us. This led to them going 1-0 up in the latter stages of the half, and they almost doubled it just minutes later. Good save. This fucking defence is shocking. We then almost got the equaliser just before the end of the half, but it was denied by a really poor attempt by Yenji. Because the whole team were pissed up, Fabio didn't have much in the way to manoeuvre any tactical alterations. He just had to give them a bit of the hairdryer treatment, like his fellow Scotsman, and light a fire under them. It didn't work very well. The team tried, but with Scully smashing the ball off the post. No, what the fuck is wrong with you? How have you hit the post? 1-on-1, by the way, and Just being wrestled to the ground. Penref! It became clear that this game was never going to be a good one for us, and just like that, we gained our first loss of the season.
We mustn't forget that it's been raining.
Off the back of such a frustrating loss, we hosted Wigan, who were actually top of the league still, 5 for 5 in terms of form, and this unit here Apparently was popping them in for fun. Humphreys forced a good save from the Icelandic dome early doors, but we've got our first 11 back, so we should be able to go toe-to-toe with them. How have you not won that? How have you not won that? Good save. Asgard then somehow managed to generate the force of a fucking freight train with the inside of his foot somehow, and nails one past the Goliath. I genuinely have no idea how you generate that sort of power with a human leg, but I guess Wigan can do whatever they want. Herrera then sets up Bishop to level it off just 6 minutes later, which gave us some hope. Going into the second half, Bishop narrowly skies an effort that could have put us up, but the two Mexicans continued to choke away at Wigan. Our issues in attacking midfield were the real difference maker in this game. It felt like there was a massive hole, and if we had a semi-competent player, we could have had a lot more success. Robertson was hooked at 65 minutes because he was just absolute rubbish. Just 5 minutes later, Wigan led again. And I'm not saying there's a conspiracy here, but I just found it funny that as soon as he came off, Wigan scored. Luckily though, after some probing away, the recent substitute Elijah brought it back to 2-2. There is there, just! He's done it! So swings and roundabouts. One bad call from Fabio, and then one good call from Fabio to rectify his mistake. What an absolute class act. We got a chance at the death to take all 3 points, but Herrera just can't finish his dinner. So we were left with one singular hard-earned point, which, to be fair, we should be proud of. I'm proud of. After that, we were sat in 7th. The upper regions of the table are so tight that even 2 slightly off games, and you're not in contention anymore. We managed to break Wigan's winning streak though, which left only Reading as the only team to take maximum points so far. Back down in Fratton Park, we got knocked out by Doncaster in the EFL Cup. Brilliant. That's brilliant, that. But the only thing we care about this season is promotion, so I can't say I'm bothered. I said it so many times up until this point, but it really is something missing in this midfield. The away fans were just calling us Polo FC. Fabio had a propaganda at the shortlist to try and rectify our issue, and his eyes laid upon none other than the West Ham legend, Grady Diangana. West Brom were unwilling to let him go on loan, so we had to snap him up using the rest of our budget, 1.2 million plus Scully, which isn't a bad deal, genuinely. I mean, they signed him for what, 12 million off us not long ago? And Scully, he might actually be younger than Diang, but Diang is class above Scully, and he probably has a far higher ceiling as well. Just like Chavez, we had to break the bank to bring him into Fratton Park, as he was likely to be our last signing of the window, so having no budget left isn't really much of an issue. Apparently it was a terrible signing, but little do they know, this man is the little magician that we need in the middle. So welcome our new number 10, Grady Diangana, who, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to make an attacking midfielder. Diangana made his debut against Barnsley, with Robertson immediately getting hooked and sent straight to the local incinerator. This guy is genuinely terrible. His debut started brilliantly, Grady Diangana getting his first start for the club. He literally walked in the door 20 minutes ago, with Devante Cole putting Barnsley up in 7 minutes. Devante fucking Cole. This guy ain't been around for like 10 years. And to be fair to him, he ran us ragged throughout the whole game. Oh my god, Devante Cole was just causing us loads of issues. Oh my lord, it's just gone wide. Luis Chavez quickly turned it around though, with an outrageous strike. Not from this free kick though. I still haven't learned how to do free kicks yet, but from the strike after. That works as well. Jesus Christ. Diangana then was directly involved in the second, but not just any involvement. Just look at this fucking pass. Oh my god, Diangana through on goal. Oh my lord. That's why we pay the big money for him. Diang really was the missing piece of the puzzle to really make us click. We saw out the rest of the game just to claim 3 points, keeping us in pursuit of the playoff places. Oh yeah, and I lied, Diangana wasn't the last signing. We managed to snap up this free agent called Michael Johnston. Not quite Johnson. Don't worry, I did all the relevant DBS checks. He's not the one who fiddles with kids. I wasn't overly convinced by our current options on the right hand side, so I had to bring someone in. I mean, White isn't particularly good, and Durin isn't one of us, and Just is a super sub. And because Johnston was a deadline day deal, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I knew from the demands that he was a decent little player. I thought, this guy must be good. If he wants crucial, he wants to walk into the team every week. After seeing him, he'll fit in like a glove. 70 overall, fucking hell, he's decent. Just like that, deadline day was done. I mean, he is bold, but I do need him. And we had to get into the slog that they call League One football. First game post-deadline day, we took on Reading, another playoff contender. Despite us keeping them pending for 25 minutes, I mean, they're just sitting in. They took the lead. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Their first attack. I can't see who's on my team, but just 15 minutes later, on his home debut in front of the Pompey faithful, Diangana gets us level with a superb finish. Grady. Our success was short-lived though. Despite us battering them all about the shop, Reading managed to bang one in, but not even just one. They managed to bang in two to kill us off. Our away game against Fleetwood might prove a good opportunity to get back into winning waves though, but not for Diang because he's on half a heart. Fleetwood played one long ball over the top to his fucking house up front. That is unfortunate. I can't do anything about that. Look at the size of him. He looks like he's about to take off. How's that for back to winning ways? It ended up taking us about an hour to mount some sort of reply, just about scrapping a draw against a poor Fleetwood team. 1-1 is not good enough against Fleetwood, man. Back in the dressing room, Will Norris seems to believe that he could have made the difference somehow. Fuck off, mate. But there's one slight issue with that, Will. You're a fucking keeper. I'm not really sure how you'd make a difference considering you won't score and the goal conceded wasn't anything to do with the keeper. You fucking spoon. Now, because we have such an incredible quality in our squad, we've hit our first issue, the internationals. League One doesn't stop in the same way that the Prem does when there's an international break. So our players literally just up and leave. Despite our squad being in tatters though, by a lucky penalty, Bishop managed to put us ahead until eventually Cambridge then got a penalty and then pulled it back to 1-1. We had some decent opportunities to win all the points, but we just couldn't do it. But hey, 1 point's better than none, especially in our form of late. We then had the EFL trophy game against Salford, a team literally a full division below us, and we got knocked out. So that's fun. Back to winning ways, isn't it? At least there's a few less games now. Plus, we had some more important fixtures to attend to. We next had to head up to the Las Vegas of the UK, Blackpool. Blackpool were actually top of the league. This was a scalp we needed to take. Fabio had the players working overtime, dribbling between cones and then have these fucking morons running towards them. It was really sunny up in Blackpool, surprisingly. And just how bad has global warming got that Blackpool have a bit of sun in October, or have a bit of sun in general? Fucking mental. We weren't looking too good attacking wise or defensive wise early doors, and we got incredibly lucky that their striker doesn't quite understand the offside rule. Otherwise we would have gone down 1-0 in 15 minutes. It served as a nice wake up call though, and we started to create a bit more, but this greying bastard just can't keep him down. Which is really ironic, because usually it's the opposite issue for the geriatric fucker. He can't keep it up. Chavez earned a nice free kick in a really nice area, but he smacked it into the wall. And this time, there was no follow-up. Overall, both teams should consider themselves very lucky to be level at the break. This pendulum could have swung either way. On another day, we're up 3-0. The game continued to be end-to-end, with masterclasses in even net. For a mixture of poor finishing, if we're not scoring opportunities like that, we're not going to score, and PED fueled performances, the game ended 0-0, but the game was just a joy to behold. It's not really a bad point either, away from home, and they are top of the league, and we were on top for the majority of the game. Next up, we were hosting Cheltenham at Fratton Park. History tells us that we struggle against counter-attacking. 5 at the back, 2 up front. Yeah, we're going to struggle. For a team currently sitting 15th in the league, it was actually quite surprising that they harbour the top goal scorer. And even more surprising, he didn't have a sniff against us. Bishop managed to bag a brace and send all 6 of the Cheltenham fans home empty-handed. Our coming games were all up against those who sat right next to us in the league, so it was really important that this time we take some points. This could be really pivotal in getting in playoff places. Carlisle were up first, and it forced us to play in our away kit for the first time this season, which I'm not opposed to at all. It's really, really nice. I didn't even realise how nice it was. Other than a chance here and there, with some decent saves, our closest opportunity came right at the death of the game with Luis Chavez, with just a nice little trivela. I can't really tell you if it's more a testament to the quality of this free kick though, or a testament to how poor our attacking has been of late. This game was dull as fuck. Luckily, our defensive structure was still pretty decent, so even though we weren't scoring much, we were at least holding for a draw. Yet again. Our finances weren't looking incredibly healthy either, so we couldn't just buy and attempt to rectify our issue. We had to really stick with what we've got. There was so little in the bank that even sending our scouts to part of England was just too expensive. If you give them a zip card, or if you just nick a zip card off a fucking 12-year-old. That'll cover the expenses for part of London. Also, the club legend Will Norris was fucking fuming at his lack of game time and handed in his transfer request. Honestly, I am beyond gutted. When it rains, it really pours. The same lineup touched down in Fratton Park, and we commanded a win against Charlton, and a win was what we were going to get, with Lopez just nailing in a header in the first 15. Paul. It was Paul. And Diangana beautifully setting up Bishop to make it 2. Oh my god, Diangana. It's a joke. This man's a joke. He's changed the team through some really nice reflex action from the Icelandic dome. We remain 2 goals clear. No, sorry, 3 goals clear. As Chavez got some fortune at the end of the half. All credit to Olaf though. We wouldn't have been leading without his massive contributions. The Charlton defence just then fell apart. Bishop managed to steal the ball away in their 18-yard box and got his second of the game. So embarrassing. Then they narrowly evaded a penalty call with some clear bribery. I need a replay on that. But yeah, he doesn't get the ball at all. If that's not hyperextension, I don't know what is. His Achilles must be made out of steel. And then second later, snap. Out. That looks painful. I mean, I don't know how that's not a penalty, but it didn't matter because Herrera made it 5. This is getting embarrassing. And then Yenji got the 6th to see out a 6-1 win over some pretty close rivals. Oh, we might actually get a 7th. Oh my god, I was about to say that was too easy, but Anjurin just doesn't make stuff easy. Going away to Northampton should be of no issue then, surely. A team that's collected only 8 points all season, and Colby comes in some really good form too. We got the early lead via some class and inevitable Bishop and Diangana link up. Diangana just turning his man inside out for fun. A poor mistake leads to Northampton levelling it just 5 minutes later. That woman. Through a man who definitely needs to be surgically removed from his suit. He looks like sausage casing around him. We remained on top throughout the game though. Chavez, no, Herrera. That's not racist at all. But it became evident that towards the end of the game, Northampton were happy with a draw. Paul gave away a free kick in the last minute just to, break up play. Like, we were struggling to get the ball off them, so I was hoping we could get one more attack out of it. No way he scores this. You won't believe what's happened next. You're taking the piss out of me. This is a team that couldn't even combine 2 passes all game. 54 free kick accuracy, and he's nailed it in the top corner. It's done. I've just lost 2-1 to fucking Northampton. Not the best result going into the game against Derby, who were sat 2 points above us. Just to compound our little issue, the Icelandic Dome, the Mexicans, and Just all went on international duty, leaving us with some actual dross in the spine of our team. James Collins looks a little bit different. I think he's had a haircut. Game started as you'd expect. What can you do when you've got a kiddie fiddler in there? And this one's not even Johnston. Allegedly, of course. He was too busy looking at the fucking ball boys, because as we know, he's impartial to a bit of the younger help. The hope of the Pompey was all hedged on Diangana just showing up today. And he tried, bless him, but nothing was working out. Diangana, got to be a goal. Oh, it's a good save. So the little small man in midfield had to step up and rescue a point. Fuck you lot. And to be fair, I might slate him a lot, but it's a good finish. A point against Derby really isn't terrible considering we're missing a lot of our key players. Off the back of that little draw, we managed to knock Grimsby out of the EFL trophy with our B team. I mean, it's not a surprise. We should be beating Grimsby every day of the week. We then had to head down south to the shithole that they call Leighton. Honestly, the mileage we're racking up this year is insane. Coming back off holiday though, everyone was pretty rusty. Oh my god. It's that or the sheer pollution of East London was just doing a number on their cognitive abilities. It took us an hour to concede a shot on our own net, and of fucking course, it goes in. What can you do? It wouldn't be legendary if their only shot on goal didn't go in. Fabio made a couple of changes to attempt to fix the issue, including sticking Herrera up front, as he's actually in some decent form as of late. Then, in the 80th minute, Fabio went against all his morals and he went for the German gegenpress, but he was just too little too late as we dropped even more points to see us sit firmly in 7th and only on goal difference. It's lucky that we managed to rack up some decent little results like that 6-1 because this season could have gone a lot worse. Fabio was making sure the players were putting in the work on the training ground, unpaid overtime, making sure we were ready to host 3rd in the league, Peterborough, for the last game of October. Peterborough brought along their beautiful away kit. I'm actually pretty jealous. What a fucking beautiful kit that is. The boys were finally clicking again after the international break, with some really nice interplay throughout the midfield to put us 1-0 up in just 5 minutes. And we didn't let it slip this time. We actually stayed on top throughout the whole half, with the attack doing well enough to bag a second. and the defence putting their bodies on the line, making sure we were well clear of Peterborough. Off the line. Other than a short lapse of concentration before the end of the half, we were completely on top. Very lucky. We got very lucky there. We then lapsed early on in the second half. Again, meaning on another day, we're level at this point. We're so lucky. But Fabio wasn't going to let it happen. He opted for a bit more control through this game, as not to just let it slip out of our reach, which was actually pretty fruitful. Our domination frustrated the fuck out of them, and Maitland-Niles' twin managed to get sent off with an awful striker's challenge. I actually don't know what he's attempting there. Like, why would you even slide? He's giving us the win. He looks like Maitland-Niles. What a ball. What a save. The referees actually just love to make it difficult for us though, and the mentally challenged fucker gave him a really soft pen to allow him to reduce the deficit. This is who we conceded to. He's running into the fucking net. What's he doing? We started to become quite spiteful towards the posh bastards. Mainly frustrated with ourselves, to be fair, because we had some really poor finishing and we just couldn't see out the game. Luckily though, we kept all 3 points by the skin of our teeth. No. It wasn't textbook in the slightest, but we just about did it. Because of the financial issues at the club, we really struggled to invest in the youth setup. And by invest, I mean just one functioning youth scout. It's not as if they're any good anyway, but it's one of the objectives of the season. Hopefully, it doesn't become too much of an issue as we look to seal promotion. Although Fabio did get the dreaded email about failing to meet objectives and realised that in fact, we need automatic promotion, and this was of critical concern to the owners. All this time, we were under the impression that we needed just playoffs. So we had to kick on, and where better to start than the club that Brighton wished they could be, Wycombe Wanderers, the temporary home of Freddie Potts, the next best English talent. Somehow the FA managed to mandate a kit clash. Not really sure if I've got dodgy eyes or something, but I don't really know how these two kits clashed so heavily. But the clash didn't matter one bit. Bishop just opened the scoring in 5 minutes. Dean Garner almost doubled the lead, but he's got the right foot of an IED survivor. The Wycombe fans were in full voice though, which no doubt pushed Wycombe players on to really test our resolve. Chavez said fuck off and smacked it into the top corner. Tienes que tezas, he probably said. That is the most English Spanish you've ever heard. Dean Garner was having a pretty poor game by his standards, at least in front of goal, but he was still running the show. But unfortunately he got the left foot of an IED survivor as well. Oh my lords. In the last attack of the half, the former Burnley man gave the fans something to cheer for. He's put on a couple pounds too by the look of it. The tubby little fucker. The kit clash was really beginning to cause some issues for us though, especially in the way of picking out passes. Wycombe quickly latched on to our inability to pick out the right men, and the tubby sheep lover equalised. At this point, Sam's eyes were just bulging with imagined farm animals, and he buried a third. We've actually conceded 3 goals to Sam Vokes. Oh, look at me. I'm Welsh. That's not Welsh. That's not a Welsh accent. Oh, look at me. I'm Welsh. And I can score goals. Pathetic. Just as pathetic as that Welsh accent. The Wycombe defence turned into 0-4-0-5 Chelsea for the next 20 minutes before Dean Garner was actually able to unlock them with just a simple pass across the box. Thank fuck. Johnson's first goal. I meant this goal with every ounce of disrespect. I smell blood. We chased the winner with every ounce of our being, pushing every man about 50 yards further forward. When Yenji came on, his average position was literally right next to Billy the ball boy. Yenji came on and managed to pick out the late run of Luis Chavez, who is always going to score from there. The team really put up a good display to shut down Wycombe attacks, giving us a really well fought 3 points. Ooh, look at me, I'm Welsh. How's that hat-trick feel now, you mug? The win put us up to 6th, and our free-flowing football has done nothing but good things for our goal difference. But a bit like Chelsea, the club feels like it's built on a bit of a house of cards. No promotion could be really detrimental to Portsmouth as a whole. Good news for us, not a single one of the upcoming opponents for the rest of this whole episode are in any real contention for playoffs. How many times are we playing Fleetwood? Other than Charlton, if you're really stretching, and maybe Cheltenham. So this gave us a prime opportunity to rack up some points, to hope to secure promotion. Obviously, it's not helpful that a couple of our starters have yet again gone on holiday, but with cheap flights in mid-November, you can't really turn your nose up, and half my team's on holiday. The game was about as exciting as you'd expect for a game against Lincoln. Fucking dull. Very little happened in the way of decent chances, but the no action gave me a lot of chance to slag off a couple of my players. Oh, get out of the way, Bishop. This man is fucking awful. Nothing happened until the 70th minute, when Olaf decided to throw the ball into his own net like prime Roberto. He's caused it to get really toxic in the camp. Oh, go back to Chelsea, you rent boy. Get the ball off them. Before Lincoln managed to bang in a second. Oh, and the third. We lost 3-0 to Lincoln at home with one decent opportunity on their goal. I'm lucky that half the Portsmouth fans have got dementia, otherwise we would have been in for a real mutiny. But who better to play than bottom of the league Exeter? With some decent opportunities from both teams in the opening minutes, the game was really shaping up to be far more enjoyable for neutrals and potentially far more enjoyable for me. There we go. Oh my god. Get it back. Bishop. Oh, release the ball! We definitely had our lion's share of the chances early on. Who do they think they're pressing, and why is Bishop here? Don't drop deep. You can hardly play football anyway, but we just couldn't convert, or at least not until Bishop nodded one in from a corner to break the deadlock. Now the floodgates were open, and Bishop banged in a second with a real nice power shot into the side netting. Although, I'm not sure this goal stands in the VAR era, or the special referee era. Could have been offside. I don't know what Chavez is doing. Speaking of special, a silly yellow from Kite just before half time made our job far easier and changed Fabio's team talk. High as a kite. Some really unfortunate rebounds allowed Exeter to get back into the game though. Any FIFA player knows this is bound to happen sooner or later, and you've just got to accept it and move on. Get in front of it! Fortunately, Yenji was really beautifully set up by Dean Garner and regained our goal cushion. Thank you, Yenji. Ridiculous player. Honestly, ridiculous. He's cheating at this level. Bishop could have furthered our lead with another beautiful assist by Dean Garner, but he somehow fucked the one-on-one. And Dorian also had a decent opportunity to put us further ahead, but he's just completely inept with a ball at his feet. Oh my lord, that's why you're a substitute nowadays. Imagine that man was my star player. An incredible finish by H got them back in the game, but surely the young Ghanaian could settle the nerves here. Nope. Oh my god, he's fucking missed that shot. He has missed that one-on-one. Fucking hell, you've missed from 3 yards out. He's on the first ferry out of Portsmouth tomorrow. Johnston managed to do what Boateng couldn't and kill off the game. And more importantly, get us all the points. All the players were finally back for a huge FA Cup game against Fleetwood. Not that it mattered all that much though, because we scraped a draw in the 63rd minute, which means we've got a replay to play. Yay. More games, but at least we're still in the cup. 10 points separated us from automatic promotion. Port Vale should leave us with only 7 points left to climb. Some poor opening attempts had me questioning the footedness of some of our best players. Left, are you left-footed? But you know what I'll never question? Dean Garner's class. Incredible finish straight into the top corner. What a fucking goal. If that post and crossbar had a working reproductive organ, it would have been 9 months pregnant. Completely penetrated with force. But this man plays for Portsmouth and not Getafe. But while I was busy celebrating the second coming of Christ, that is Diang, Lopez gifted Port Vale an equaliser. But minutes later, Dean Garner and Herrera linked up to put us back up. But to quote Vince Carter, I've got one more in me. No. And Lopez gifted a penalty to Port Vale and then the goal. After some incredible play through the entire midfield and attack, Bishop slotted one past Port Vale and put us back to win the game. Port Vale began to fall apart, leaving Herrera just to run through on goal and slot home his second of the game. Then Yenji came on and then slotted home another, off the bench. He always comes on and scores, always. Yenji is Fabio's own little Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but this time, the goal was even more important. 5th place was comfortably ours, especially so after beating our next opponent's Bristol Rovers 2-1 in the December snow, helped by Dean Garner's sheer ability and Andorian's not ability. Oh, what has he done? But his tenacity. Our winning ways just kept snowballing as we won the away replay against Fleetwood, potentially giving us the ability for a deep cup run. Nothing gets you up for hosting Shrewsbury Town like a bit of funky music. It really attunes the senses, you know? For the entire first half, it was just chance after chance after chance from us. Oh my god, that's a really good challenge. But somehow, Shrewsbury managed to hold us to 0-0 for the half. We were battering them, genuinely. But by the 60th minute, Christ himself was able to rifle one home to put us ahead in front of the home crowd. What a beautiful man. 20 minutes later, Johnson just dribbles past his man, gets in acres of space, lets one fly, and bang, what a fucking strike by Mr. Johnson. Michael Johnston. Shrewsbury get their first real opportunity of the game in the 92nd minute, but it was just too little too late for them. Back playing against these little mugs, the free kick merchants. I'm not sure how we played them so closely home and away, but I'm not complaining. We're in decent form this time, so that should hopefully prevent them from doing the double over us. These lot beat us last time. Really good save. Oh my god. These lot have really got our number. It's a bit like Tottenham and Man City. We're obviously Man City in this regard. However, some really nice, patient and meticulous play managed to break down the Northampton low block and got us back to level pegging. A real tactical marvel by the Scottish-born manager there. All that to be undone by our own little Naya for good, Lopez, who just loves a fucking clanger every so often. We kept the pressure up on Northampton though, which abounded in Diangana almost taking the fucking net off. Oh my god, he's so good. What a fucking game of football. It averaged a goal almost every 7 minutes. Diangana almost helped us gain the lead, not once, but twice, with some really nice passing, but both the finishes were just not up to scratch. Throughout the second half, the Icelandic dome was there just to nullify any Northampton projectiles into Israel, i.e. the Portsmouth net. That's a little geopolitical joke there. Some really nice tight interplay in the Northampton box managed to finally give us the lead we needed. Herrera's managed to pick up a few goals lately. His training as an inverted winger has really done wonders. Honestly, Northampton just need to stick with their low block. They really struggled to make their way out of the half with these more intricate attempts at football. They're definitely not managed by Fabio. This time we were just able to snatch it off them and Bishop was able to kill the game off with just 20 minutes to go. They did manage to get a goal in the last couple of minutes of the game after some incredible keeping, but again, it's just really unfortunate in the way that the ball bounced and fell to Simpson. Sparks has just twatted him in the head. Sitting firmly in playoff places now, we had a bit more liberty to look up the table at the automatic places. Being only 3 points off the two teams, they're very catchable. There's worse positions for a club to find themselves in, like being in the city of Scunthorpe. We started playing the reverse fixtures. Now that I think about it, it actually makes sense. We reached halfway through the season. The ever-slated Bishop had actually become the league's top scorer, 15 goals in 24 games played. I might question his mental faculties occasionally, but if there's one thing Bishop can actually do, is find the back of the net. Early doors, Diangana forces a really nice save from their keeper with his right foot, somehow keeping it within the Earth's gravitational pull this time. The extended passage of play of the two corners actually leads to Bishop nodding in the first of the game, and his 16th of the season. He's had 3 headers in the last 2 seconds. Now that we're doing well, the away end are actually loving life. What a bunch of fickle football fans, eh? The newly made inverted winger in Herrera smashes in the second of the game on that sweet right foot. This is the Herrera that Portsmouth were needing. He's really coming to his stride of late. Now that everyone was scoring bangers, Elijah thought it was his go, but he's not that guy. Unfortunately, he's just not quite blessed with that kind of talent yet. Speaking of blessed, the Bishop scores another header, hugging just 18, who I've got to admit, going off the precedent set by the church, he's a little bit too old for Bishop. Via some poor defending and some actual EA aids, that phrase ain't been used for a while, Charlton managed to get one back. What is going on? Why couldn't he come out? But it didn't help that I think he said Adolf. Fucking hell, how have I just said Adolf? But it didn't help that Olaf was forcibly glued to his line. He gave himself a concussion after. Their second goal came from another gift from Morel this time. Olaf initially making a ridiculous save, and he just wasn't able to pick up the ball apparently. Why has he not collected that? Olaf just about clings on to a decent effort from Charlton in the last minute, and somehow this game ended 3-2. It was far closer than it ever should have been. Would you look at that? Within just 40 minutes, we're already at Boxing Day. I can't think of a game more thrilling for a Boxing Day special than Portsmouth versus Carlisle at 3 PM. Colby's eyes could barely stay open from all the Monopoly he was playing last night. Clearly the team was shamelessly overindulgent last night. Morel, the little fatty, blocked a pass from Chavez and gave Carlisle the lead. I wasn't massively annoyed by conceding this. Well, not until they violated me with the state of their kit. It looks like something you'd find at a schizophrenic art display. What the fuck is that? Chavez makes up for his earlier error though, and feeds off the rebound from Bishop's effort on goal. Going into the second, Edmondson almost bags the second in the exact same fashion as last time, but in the words of George W. Bush, fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Olaf is very much like Bush. He loves a good bombing of Middle Eastern countries and lying about weapons of mass destruction. Speaking of weapons of mass destruction, check this fucker out. Diangana is what Bush thought Iraq had. A real nice dinked through ball from Chavez finds Bishop, who just kills off the game, giving us a 3-1 win on Boxing Day. Oh, it's wrong goal again. Oh my, and with that, we reached the final game of the episode, an away game against Cheltenham, who I seem to play every other week. What a way to end the episode, by the way, as Zero has become something of a hero. Diangana's rare loss of possession in the middle of the park is quickly turned around into a banger by Street. I guess you could say that sort of position was right up his street. I am fucking hilarious. But Diangana makes up for his earlier mistake by putting it on a plate for Chavez, levelling the scoreline. Our recent efforts have seen us shoot right up to second in the table, and no surprise, we've been playing out of our skin recently. With a win here at Cheltenham, we could have gone top of the league if results were favourable. Diangana turning his man inside out and then slamming it into the bottom corner is only going to help our pursuit. We were peppering the Cheltenham goal with shots like it was a young 50 Cent. Just after the half though, really against the run of play, Kenner just sneaks one past Olaf. We have a serious issue with these early goals. Fabio's team talk clearly needs some adjustments, or he may need to lose the Scottish accent. We stayed on top for the rest of the game and came agonisingly close on several occasions, but nothing found its way in, not until some really tight and quick passes unlocked the Cheltenham defence. Who else but Diangana to save the day yet again. With that goal, we saw at the end of the year on a massive high, only amplified by the FA Cup triumph over Gillingham. I don't know who Diang is. Oh, Diang. Of course I know Diang. What am I on about? With that, we go into January 6 points clear of third place, but we do lose Anjorin and Kamara as their parent clubs take them back because I just wasn't playing them. But they were both absolute wanks, so I'm not really bothered.